Yo, what is cooking, everyone? We are live here, EWGL. I got Scav with me in the booth, Dre on production, ready to cook this one up. Scav, how we feeling?
I'm feeling really good. We got another matchup, yet another one on the EWG main stage today. We have Omnia, 4-0 on the record for this season so far. Haven't dropped the map, taking on Dynasty, who's also 3-1, very respectable record. They've dropped 4 maps, but still a worthy opponent nonetheless. But here we go, map number 1, off to the races. These fine gentlemen go on Colossus.
Yeah, not dropping a map. Looking at the stats of these teams, I feel like that might change tonight, but we'll see. We'll see on the side of Dynasty Impact. We got Bing, Fletch, Jerb, and Z square inside a square with legs on the outside square. And for Omina, we got Cole, DD, Clarion, and Ortiz. We are kicking off on P1 here. We're seeing some Fallout skins, as that's the new update that came into the game. I thought that sometimes you weren't allowed to have skins, or certain ones especially, but I mean, if anything, that's more of a detriment for how wide that visual box is on that
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about hitboxes, which isn't really a thing in Call of Duty, but like the actual field of view you get from the advantage of having a thinner or like a character that has like darker clothing on usually comes to play. But I'll tell you what, in the feed, Omnia doing a fantastic job. That's a complete team white. Ortiz, the cherry on top on Jerb, will clean up shop as P2 opens up. No contest really at this point in time, except from Binge, who takes out Clarion. Cole with a two-piece. Overall, bodies are just dropping galore on this P2 map, but still, Omnia maintains control.
Yeah, we're going a little back and forth here on the score. It's really close as we get into this P2. 20 seconds left. Gonna have to start these rotations coming through. Jerb on the double. Looking to get some work done. He's the most score on the team. Wait for him to pop up. Gets the hop up. Can't get the double kill. Can't blame him, but we got 10 seconds into the next hill. We already got Bing onto the site, but Cole is working in there. Got that AR. Gets the work done. Not much health loss. Gonna able to hold that one down. Teammates looking to refill in. We got 2v2 action. A little trade coming through. Jerb getting the action done with Cole. Pulls out the pistol. He's locking it down. Teammate here. Clarion looking to lock down against Fletch. Possibly pushing this one with Z on the back. We got all four looking to push in. Cole not missing a shot. All to the face. Looking for another one there. Off the jump. Hits it again. Looking for three. Cole has to hit the reload. Can't get the job done, but it's looking all green on the hill time. 30 seconds left, and they take a nice lead here.
And this is what I was kind of talking about before the game started, Chef, that Omnia really does well and can kind of use to their advantage throughout this map, and if not stopped by Dynasty the entire series, they're fantastic when it comes to rotations, but not only running those rotations, but holding on to dear life. So their teammates that are able to beat the other groups and those rotations over to the new hills that open up are able to hold on to dear life, as you saw Cole getting a nice two-piece, almost a three, buying just enough time for the reinforcements to arrive the side of Omnia, and you got to love that trust you have as a teammate and as a team, knowing that, hey, you can put one on point, they won't stay there forever, but they'll stay just long enough for those reinforcements to show up. So a new hill has opened up, but I'll tell you what, new hill, same kill feed, still all green, 74 seconds and counting. Omnia is ticking right back up, but I'll tell you what, last time I saw Omnia, it was a complete domination on this hard point, and it looks like at least Dynasty here has been giving them somewhat a run for their money as we hit mid map, and my words are eaten a little bit, as still a team wipe ensues, and Cole will continue to be a problem until eventually he's shut down.
Yeah, the map coverage, very important. If you watch those green arrows in the bottom left, see their positioning. See where the respawns are. A lot of teams just don't push the respawns further through the map, because Call of Duty is going to put you as close as they can without a line of sight onto that hard point so you can retake it. But where they have them sitting, they're going to be respawning way out. They had the anchor. They only had one guy actually on the hill, because that's all you need to actually get the time. And they had some checkpoints they had to pass through of different Omnia players. So great work here from Omnia. You know, there's a reason they haven't dropped a map, let alone an entire game. They're really doing good. Dynasty Impact, though, is right there behind them. This is a game. But if we're looking at KDs, Omnia is on top. Look at that, almost or positive all the way throughout. And Clarion himself, 20 and 8 with over 30 seconds on hill, looking real nice on the opposite side. Looking at
Ooh.
0.5 KDs. We're looking at, all negatives. No one hitting a minute hill time. Really rough on the score. And we got pistols getting pulled out. They're not even throwing the trophies down. They're just rolling it up in there. But we do see a little bit of a switch here. But it is P1. 10 seconds left. We're looking on to this next hill.
As we just barely passed by P1, scoreline shows very different from the first time we met. It was 0-0. Now Omnia has the privilege of being nearly double the score of Dynasty Impact, and now sort of a game of catch-up has to ensue, and a couple of Hail Marys with completions, if you will, from the side of Dynasty will bring this series back in their favor. But back to P2 we go, and back to the original slang that we tend to see. D with a 3-piece, causing some absolute mayhem. Make it 4 as well. Just take off the rest of Omnia and give DD the gun and tell him what to do. He'll do it for you. And if that's not enough, if they want to go around DD, they got to get around Ortiz. DD being an absolute cement wall that unfortunately for Dynasty won't be able to get around anytime soon.
Yeah, that was wild. I saw a little visual glitch there. It showed like no ammo in his gun, but he was still shooting. Interesting. It's a new one that Call of Duty put in. But serious work getting put in, and he is the player at a disadvantage with that wider visual box character skin, which is very interesting to choose. But looking at the KD and the time on the hill, none of that matters if you got the skill, you got the positioning, and you got the teammates. Because what I love looking at is that bottom left map, looking at those green arrows, the way they're able to push. You see, they got that 3-1 split right now, hitting it at different angles, and they have the skill set. Look at that, over and over and over. DD catching that nade. They're doing call-outs exactly where they need to put that nade. They got one player here, Fletch, is kind of screwing it up, and they send out 2 players because of how important it is to get that one side of the map. Now, look at them spread out. They immediately watch a kill feed. They got all 4. They spread it out. Look how far away those spawns are. Even if they lose their gunfights, they're going to be able to respawn, refill, and still be in front of them before they get to the hill. Extremely important, and that's how we're seeing this over 200 points against not even triple digits.
Yeah, and Jeff, you talk about spawns, and that just overall is a fantastic reflection of how Omnia's map knowledge is really coming to play, not only for this map, but for the entire series, for their entire time in EWGL Season 1, not dropping a map. That shows not just confidence when going in there with the Dravik and the M15, but also confidence in the map as well. And we're starting to see that every single rotation, I want to say up until about 1 or 2 that we've seen, has led off with green, green, green on the hill, and shortly thereafter, green, green, green in the feed. So as we trickle on over to through 30 and counting, Omnia can win this. They're making it look pretty easy. Ortiz trying to kind of put the axe down and deny that last push from going through. He'll be successful. Cole, Clarion likely getting the last laugh for this map, and just like that, oh, a little bit of a last-second contest. Great to see. Great to see the Gents in purple still fighting, but no, unfortunately, will not be enough, and that will end map number 1.
Yeah, what an insane showing there. Over 30 kills, DD and Clarion both putting up work. Over a minute on hill each, almost 2 minutes there for Clarion. It seems like every time Dynasty gets a kill, Omnia gets a team wipe, and they're just able to take control of that map and really just showcase their skills. We see them not missing much, and if they are, they got a teammate right behind it to get a double or a triple, and just insane footwork and gun skill through that. There you go, 33 up for both Clarion and DD. Good stats for that game.
Yeah, and if we had like a little replay system in place, I definitely would like to see that DD 3, 4, 5 piece kind of within the scope of 30 seconds be reflected on our screens again, because that was just absolute beauty. Ortiz kind of went up from top over that P1 and sat there because he realized once DD kind of slammed those early 3 players from the rotation of Dynasty down to the ground, he knew that they were gonna trying to push out, or they weren't going to try to contest DD again, and Ortiz was just kind of there to meet him with his SMG as well. So player of the game so far for that map number 1, I'd say for the series also, would be DD, just cleaning up shop and really just hitting that nail in the coffin of Dynasty.
Yeah, DD right there. Clarion close behind. Clarion able to get the same amount of kills with over 2 minutes on hill. Clearly, score is what wins in hardpoint. So good on him for that. again, haven't dropped a map is not something that you can take lightly. That is serious skill, especially here in the EWGL, where there is some serious skill out there. A lot of great teams. And what I saw from Dynasty Impact on that first map, obviously they weren't up to score, but they still did very good, right? Like nothing they were doing was inherently bad. They just were getting outperformed on all levels by the pure raw talent coming here from Omnia. And we're going to go into a Den S&D next.
Yeah, and one thing that I always say, I sound like a broken record if you've seen me cast before, is when you come out of a hard point where you're kind of slapped around a little bit and the score, neither of the KDs just aren't in your favor. You want to go into a search and destroy and slow things down, slow the pace down, especially when you start off on that offensive side with the bomb in hand. Slow things down because you're coming off a hot hard point. You're coming off a team with hot weapons and a sense of pride, a sense of confidence after just purely dominating on that hard point. So if you're a dynasty, I would employ a red yellow green strategy. Start off slow, pick up the speed a little bit, and once you start to see Omnia make those mistakes or get impatient, which hate to break it, but unfortunately rarely will happen, especially on a map like Den. Then you pounce, then you capitalize, then you play aggressive. That's the strategy for search and destroy, and that's a strategy that I hope Dynasty can employ.
Yeah, we're going to see if they keep the same host or if we're flipping here. I think we'll cut it to a short break and we'll be right back into the action with some S&D.
After a very short break, Chef wasn't kidding. We're back into map number 2, Den, an interesting map, a fun map to see search and destroy, probably one of my favorites. And I'll tell you what site of the two tends to be the favorite. That's going to be the B site. But on the contrary, we're going to see a push from the side of Omnia initially going to that A site, causing some ruckus early, leading with aggression on the offensive side.
Yeah, I love snipers. Big sniper fan, but you got to be a big DD fan as a double kill untraded is disgusting to start S&D. Bomb is down. They're getting bullied out of their own site down to just Gerb in a 1v2. It's still possible. But Gerb with the pistol out laying down, not going to be too possible. He might have gotten a defuse there, but probably not. A lot of time to work with. These players are playing for trades. You see them stacked on top of each other right there. Jerb gonna bounce out. Clearing now, gonna push up. Knows that he's out in the open. Impossible to win any fights out there. And that is a kickoff for Omnia win. When you lose the first map and you don't even hit triple digits, you got to send a message in that first round. And Dynasty was not there to send that message. Off of a sniper from Cole, DD leading that double kill untraded is massive. Serious message being sent here on that first map.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think a big part of that is just the fact that Omnia did the unlikely, right? Omnia did what I think is sort of taboo, especially in a first round when you're playing offense, and that was head over to that A push. I guess now that's starting to be something more common, but that A push alone was very unexpected. And I'll tell you what has been expected, though. Cole with the sniper out, unfortunately. Nobody's home, so that's going to allow an opportunity for push up from the side of Dynasty, and here they are, so trickling in one by one. Bomb plant should go through. Fletch with a nice snipe. That's going to shut down a flank in the process. Clarion with an unlikely nade. Cole with a snipe of his own, so snipers galore here on Den, and Ortiz will find Z-Box, or Z, whichever way you want to say it. 1v2 situation here, unlikely for Fletch. He's got the sniper. Yeah, it'll take 2 pretty nutty sniper kills to make it possible, but I'll tell you what, he has plenty of time to do it. 45 seconds. Bomb kind of vacated on site, but here it is. Here comes the engagement.
Well, 1v1 sniper action, too. That's the guy with it. He's looking for that SMG on the ground. Couldn't find it. That's a game changer. Looking for that trade. He's up top. He was focused on the SMG on the ground instead of focusing on the kill there. He had the drop on him. He had the first shot, but he didn't take it. He was hunting on the ground. Can't be looking at the loot. Got to be looking for that win. And, you know, when you run the sniper, kind of a primary objective outside of your obvious sniping gameplay is to pick up that second gun, know where the bodies are dropping. And you as teammates, you also have to keep that in mind. When you die, you need to say, hey, my gun is dropped here. Go pick it up. And obviously that was not happening there. And not saying, you know, he kind of flopped his 1v2. It's kind of hard to do, but would have made it a lot easier for him.
New round 2-0 for the side of Omnia Dynasty. Mid-map push will be rewarding. Usually it's a high risk, but the high reward will be enjoyed by DD. What do you know? B is going to be wide open, though, for the taking. Probably going to throw off. Yeah, it's going to throw off Dynasty as Jerb was looking for the flank. Not able to find it there. Ortiz still kind of got Burge and co under the pressure of his own thumb as Clarion takes that opportunity to push up. He's 5-1 so far on this map and a streak of 2 alongside his other teammate. And just like that, 4v1 situation. Fletch finds one with a pistol, but the Dravik will do the dirty deed and exceed Omnia to 3rd straight.
Geez, 3 in a row. Again. Omnia. It's not easy to not drop a map, but these guys are insane. Like, we're looking at possible little challengers action here from them. We're seeing some really great teamwork, really great skill. I have casted quite a few challengers teams and retired pros in my day. And what I'm seeing here, especially from DD, Clarion, it's some serious pro action, some pro moves. Keep an eye on that map. Write down these strats because these are some serious stuff. We're going to see a nice B push here. Nice 2-1-1 split on the defense. See what they can do. Believe we might see a little sniper defense. Fletch going to shoot through the building as DD did as well for the trade. Got to have map knowledge, what you can shoot through, the possible locations they can stand behind and keep that firepower going down. Gonna see Ortiz is going to fall back off of the shots, but the grenade's going to come out. Could connect at the flak jacket, though. Looking to follow up. But Clarion with the double nade. Oh, my God. Fletch again. The last one alive. He's going to get collapsed on, and that's another round. Fletch again and again being the last one alive. I think he has to switch up what he's doing because it's just not going to work.
I'll tell you what, right now, Dynasty might as well be fruit from that round because they completely were just tossed into the whirlpool of a blender that's named Omnia. That double nade there, ugly to see. And I mean, if you can't, I think it could get any worse in that search. There's the double nade as well to accompany it. So a clip-worthy moment there for Clarion on Den. It makes sense why this is a map favorite for Omnia. But moving on, again, a lot of the Call of Duty matches that we see, a lot of players kind of lose out mental, and Dynasty can't let themselves do that. They still got 2 rounds to prove themselves worthy of remaining in the series, but an initial kill wallbang at that from Clarion onto Jerb will unfortunately shorten the lifespan quickly.
The pre-fire from Ortiz is insane, and he's like locking on too to no one there. Like his accuracy on no one existing is crazy. No aim assist, nothing. He has crazy gun recoil skills. Oh my God. Omnia is just really nice to watch here. 5-0, just 5 in a row. Like, you got to put down something here if you're Dynasty. Like, what a round. And DD still with his movement and everything gets the bomb down, not moving. The call-outs got to be insane. Obviously practicing these strats over and over. These guys are really zesty out there, turning everything into a masterpiece. Really good recipe for success.
Yeah, Omnia getting lost in the sauce here. Late map number 2 on Den. Curious to see now, with that being said, what we're going to see Dynasty kind of employ here. And yes, it'll be B, easiest strategy. Mid-map, that'll be Z, who is going to be hunt down eventually. And yes, we'll find one. The trade goes through in the process. But meanwhile, over to B, Omnia's going to have some work to do because the bomb... Okay, bomb has not been planted yet. I thought it would have been by this point, but as a result, Fletch is going to fall. 3v2 situation. You got 7.5 to defuse. Excuse me. I think this is the first time that Omnia has to defuse a... Yeah, first time that Omnia has to defuse a bomb, and they'll be able to do it. Clarion.
Locked on through the wall for Clarion.
He's on
Like,
a 4 streak too.
I don't want to call that cheating, so I'm just gonna call it like the call outs between players. Insanity. The momentum from shooting one guy immediately locked onto a guy through the wall into the next one. Insane how that's being called. I don't even know how you word something like that to just flow right into the next guy through a wall, but seriously great work here. A smorgasbord of skills coming through for Omnia.
I'm gonna use smorgasbord a lot more in my vocabulary. I like that one. But I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's just I'd like to say I'd like to think a lot of that is just map knowledge and just predictability, like predicting players' movements. I mean, countless hours spent playing scrims, playing with players that are significantly better than you, and kind of being able to take those experiences and turn them into those eventual predictions. And I'm sure a call out did go out at some point that the last alive went through dojo, and then the pre-fire shortly is what happened after that. And when you're in a 4v1 situation, you can pre-fire. You can afford to give your location away because if you end up dying for some odd reason, your teammates will be able to back you up in the process. So I think it's what you said, a mix of confidence, but also just playing the darn game from the time that it came out to now and getting used to the
Yeah.
map. And, when I used to play competitive COD, a lot of what I would do is when a map drops or was added to the pool, I'd just take my team and we'd run around the map, explore different areas, different angles, talk about things, 2v2, scrim each other, and a lot of that is where the experience comes from, where you're able to almost look like you're looking through walls, but a lot of that is just prediction, lucky timing, and mechanics along with the map knowledge. But the book has been closed, Chef, for maps number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Den Search and Destroy was, lack of a better term, fairly ugly for Dynasty, but they at least got a bomb plant down, so that showed some promise. They were able to mislead, if you will, Omnia to think they were heading over to A, but they got to B. So that's one thing positive that we can take from this experience. But map number 2, Overload on Den. So staying on Den, different mode this time.
Yeah. Clearly it was their map. And like again, I've casted some bad teams. I've casted some really one-sided 6-0s. I feel like any of those maps, Dynasty could have came together. They had the skill set from what we've seen to pull a round together, but they can't break the momentum. Omnia is clearly a momentum machine. They are
Hmm.
frosted with fearlessness when they are in the attack mode. It seems like when DD gets through, he does his route, enemies almost inconvenience him on his route to where he's trying to go. He's like, dude, just die. Like, I don't even care about you. I'm trying to get over here. Like, it's
Hmm.
not even like a fight. It's not even a care in the world. The guy is a momentum machine. I'm just going to say it again. He's just serving it fresh the entire time, just working through it. Seriously, crazy to see. You guys need to be writing down his routes. Like, I'm seeing some jump shots going crazy. They're not missing, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just working through it. 6-0, 250, 81 on that first map. We're going to see an overload. Now, one thing with overload, from what we've seen with control and domination and everything else in the past, momentum is where overload shines. You get that capture, you get whatever side you're on, get those spawns locked down, get those blockers up. You're going to keep running it back, running it back. And this could be over really quick if Dynasty doesn't get a good defense, because I feel we're going to see some offense here from Omnia.
Overload has begun. Name of the game, pretty similar to Uplink from Black Ops 3, except you can't throw it. You just got to run into the territory, and just like that, an initial
Oh my
score will
God.
go through before I can finish my sentence. You were talking about Omnia cooking, Chef. Do you think they could cook a better meal than you? We'll see over the next 4 minutes or 10 minutes or so, however long it takes for this map to conclude itself. In the feed, though, the aggressive and incredibly fluid. Oh, you missed somebody there, but
I told you, it's an
overall,
inconvenience, man. Enemies are
yeah,
inconvenience to them.
I know.
They're
I don't
doing
know if
something
that.
better.
Yeah, I mean, I beg to differ. That was an intentional or not, but regardless of the fact, back to slaying, Omnia will go, and the overload device is still being held by Omnia. Ortiz trying to take it seems like the hard route here. He can go for a wrap, but he'll take the tough way out, and Cole will kind of pave the way for another point score over at B.
Yeah, the blocker up there, you got to push the spawns out, because in this mode on Overload Black Ops 7, Call of Duty will spawn you in front of that hill so you can block off of a death. Even though it's only like a 3-second respawn delay, COD will still put you in front of that. So you get that blocker up. COD is going to spawn you up on that other site. We've seen him there respawn on A, and Cole was able to push him out. And the other two players, even if you don't win those fights, your guy's still able to capture into it. And we see 3 already. We're 1 away from halftime with over 3 minutes on the clock. No one has it yet. It is the toughest one, being in the center, but they're making it pretty easy. Just has to get this 1 kill, and the pistol gets it done. And you see no one was up there yet, so that, again, COD spawns him on A, gets the pistol kill, gets in the right spot to block it, not even worried about the kill. And we're already at halftime, and I feel like we haven't even talked much because it's just a quick game.
Yeah, there's not much time really to analyze when you got sort of, you know, getting through halfway through the round within about 4 to 5 sentences, but nonetheless, it's a, you know, kind of a grim start to the first half of the round. But one thing that I have noticed on Overload, specifically on maps like Scar, I don't know if I'm really seeing it much yet on Den, but I'm inexperienced in seeing this mode on this map, is the fact that one side tends to be favored a bit more, and it's a lot easier to score on one side versus the other. So, benefit of the doubt, Dynasty can use the side they're on as the advantage and try to put some points on the board, because at this point, that's kind of all you're hoping for, what you're really trying to see if you're a Dynasty or a fan.
Yeah, and I like that you pointed that out, because you see on the bottom of the map, the green sites are more spread out, and there's not a line of sight between the two. But on the right side, the purple caps are a little closer, so no matter which one you spawn at, you're able to get to the other one closer. So this is more of a favored Dynasty side, and they do get a capture. At least they got a point on the board, so that's nice. A good little start here. Z with a square inside a square with legs on the outside square, able to get that capture. And that's only the second time I've brought that up, because no one on that entire team has really been doing too much. But it's good to see.
Yeah.
And Fletch is almost positive.
Yeah, well, that's good to see nonetheless. Yeah, Z Square with I'm not gonna say the full sentence. That was it's a fun name nonetheless. I love seeing names like that. But reset has gone through 1 to 5, so it'll be 8 to end the map and thus the series if you're looking at Omnia and you're cheering them on. But with okay, so control of the map has been retaken. I was gonna say that first spawn of the overload device in mid was primarily controlled by the side of Dynasty, but it won't be controlled very long, because here comes the second deposit in a row by Clarion. And just like that, 2 more, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Very doable. You can kind of put your feet up and relax right now if you're Omnia, but still, if you're on the side of Dynasty, it's crunch time from here on out.
They're not relaxing either. Like, it's a serious sweat fest. The momentum, the way they're able to go from one player to the next, like, again, it's almost like when they're getting double kills, the first player is an inconvenience to the second player they were trying to kill. Just how they're able to transition from one into the other. Just whatever the fire rate of the gun is how long it takes for them to transition. The next bullet's already hitting the next guy. We're going over and over, but we do get a capture, but we're on match point here for Omnia. Next cap wins it. I do like seeing more than 0 for the side of Dynasty Impact. I feel like if any other team was playing Dynasty Impact tonight, it would have been a lot closer. But Omnia is really cooking it up. They are the chef tonight. I don't think anyone else is going to be on their level, tonight or really anytime soon. And they might walk away with the EWGL if someone doesn't step up here and take their crown of no maps dropped.
Yeah, well, here comes an explosive there at the last minute. I was gonna say there comes the nail in the coffin, the cherry on top, but it's not gonna be there.
He did his gerb.
Yeah, Binge was a fantastic kill there with the pistol. Not able to hold on though very much, and as a result, Ortiz causing some mayhem. That'll end the map and therefore the series. And just as DD has in his name, DoorDashed the side of Dynasty and completely won. But we say these things also like all in good fun as well, because I truly think there's a reason why I'm casting and I'm not actually playing in these games. So nonetheless, I commend Dynasty for kind of stepping up onto the mainstream and throwing their best effort at a team that very
Yeah.
clearly, I mean, just from this final kill cam, is able to make sure that no bullets are unaccounted for, that every shot hits. They don't like wasting bullets. They're very efficient, you know? They're
Yes.
renewable, you know, very green team in that sense. So
Multiple ways.
bravo. I'll say bravo Omnia. And like you said, I think they're very much so like that number 1 seed right now at EWGL. But the
They have to
benefit,
be. They're undefeated and no
right.
maps.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. They are. No maps at all. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they've been on the mainstream for almost all of their major games, but that is a benefit to, yes, getting the VODs and all that, but also can be a drawback. I mean, there's a possibility there's a team out there somewhere. I don't know the full team lineup that's watching these and studying Omnia's movements.
It's true.
So the potential could be there that they're kind of out scouted in the next series they play. And I hope for Omnia they're prepared for when that day could potentially come.
Yeah, and I'd challenge them to really track the movements because there is a lot of movement that is happening from Omnia. And that's really what you have to study is just how you can move like that. The transitions, the map control, it's starting it back with a little recap here. Hardpoint Colossus, 250 to 81. Great spawn control and just multiple kills and the gun skill coming out of Omnia out the gate. DD with a lot of big plays over a minute on hill and Clarion with over 2 minutes on hill, 33 kills each. Great stat line, great way to start it off. Dynasty still not counted out, but they get kind of counted out after that S&D performance. Clarion goes 12-3 with great momentum. DD with multiple first bloods, even first double bloods. And on that last one, Clarion going 20-7. I know we're bringing up DD a lot, but stat wise, I'd say Clarion definitely gets the MVP, but it seemed like production was on DD a lot, and I personally saw DD pulling a lot of crazy plays. So I mean, it's a little bit of a toss up, but I got to give it to Clarion.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's very map dependent who you would want to give the MVP for Omnia too. I'd say overall, I'm definitely in agreement with you, Chef, with Clarion. But DD, especially on that initial hard point, I mean, that's very, very hard to not acknowledge in this situation. And I feel like, the fun thing about this Omnia team is, like I said, you have a team that doesn't just have 1 to 2 players that are like tanks and the other two are more like support. You've got every single player that has their moments and is able to sort of come to shine, and regardless of the game mode. And I feel like every game had that. Every game had like a certain player. Whether it was Cole on that search and destroy, or as Clarion with some of the uploads early on and on Den, or like I said, moving over to DD and the Ortiz dynamic duo mid map stop for a hard point. All these players very much so have done their homework when it comes to Call of Duty, and congratulations to them for winning yet another EWGL match. They're defending their title right now of not losing a
Yeah.
single map, but I live to see the day where they're challenged in that aspect, because I'm very curious to see what happens when they're really put under that pressure, because they're so used to doing it to other teams. I'm interested and I'm almost excited just for their personal growth to see what happens when they're actually put under that pressure themselves.
Yeah, 100%. And like I brought up before, working their way up possibly to, challengers and beyond. Like they're there. They're close. A lot of these teams separate and go different directions, but I'd really like to see a lot of them stick together and see what they can do cuz clearly it's a lot. Clearly they're putting in the practice. They're not coming in cold. They got those warm thumbs. They probably got the hand warmers, taped around, and they're really going at it cuz it was like a sweat fest with the accuracy, the momentum, just disgustingly bathed in balsamic brilliance. Like these guys just had everything perfect, the recipe for success all night. Seriously, great work from Omnia. And Dynasty Impact came in 3-1. This is a very good team on the top tier of EWGL, and you've seen how they collapsed from the emulsification of energy that came through with Omnia. Great work through them. Scav, it was great casting with you. Thank you everyone for watching, and huge shout out to production and Dre and Devonte and everyone else with EWGL for a great stream tonight. We'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much.